Hi, today we are going to explain about the confusion matrix. Already I've taken the confusion matrix. It is a continuation of the previous slide. The confusion matrix is a very important for the person who's the research, the work we are doing. And as well as if you want to identify the accuracy level, they want to identify what the work they are doing. It is a perfect to identify, to measure, we need a confusion matrix. In this matrix, what is the confusion matrix? It is a summarize that performs of the machine learning model, a set of the test data. It is often used to measure the performance of classification model. Actually, the confusion matrix is a very important because it's a widely used. They given the better idea of model performance than confusion, then classification accuracy done. So what it is, how it is be working means the previous example, I explained about the what is the confusion matrix with the 2 by 2 and the actual value and the predicted value. In this actual value, in the column side, we have the actual value. In the row side, we have a predicted model. So in which tool we are executing, whatever predicted is correct or not, we need to identify, we need a confusion matrix. So in that, we have TP, TN, FP, and FN, what it is. So how it is be working? The first one, we will go for the true positive. In the true positive, why it is working? The predicted value match the actual value, or the predicted class match the actual classes. So what it does? The thing is, whatever we predicted, our model is predicted, actually it is a match with the actual value. The actual value was positive, then the model predicted as a positive value. So that is the one we will call it as a true positive. The second one, we will go for the true negative. The true negative is nothing but the predicted value matches the actual value, or the predicted class match the actual classes. So this is also, it is a true, means actual value was negative and the model predicted is a negative value. The actual value was negative and the model also predicted as a negative value. So that is the one we will call it as a true negative. Second one, we will go for the false positive. The false positive is a type 1 error. So the previous whatever we studied, the two things, that is true positive and true negative, it is the one, the first one, it is be predicted correctly. Means if the whatever the actual one is there, our model also predicted as it is. That actual value was a positive and the model also predicted as a positive value. That is, we will call it as a true positive. The second one, true negative, that is also the actual value was a negative and the model also predicted as a negative value. So these two are the positive sense. The second one, we will go for the false positive. False positive, we will call it as a type 1 error. The predicted value was falsely predicted, means the actual value was negative. The actual value was negative, but the model predicted a positive value. Also is known as a type 1 error. Here it is, we have a risk. The thing is, the predicted value is false. The predicted value was falsely predicted, but actual value was negative, but the model predicted as the positive. The second one, we have a type 2 error. In the type 2 error, there is the predicted value was falsely predicted, but actual value is positive. So this is the one we will call it as a type 2 error. So that it is very important. So now we'll go for the example. So you can see this example so that you may understand what is learning disability, means what is the confusion matrix and how it is be working. I am taken as a learning disability in school going children. Learning disability, it is not the disease, but it is not going to be cure until unless if you're not prevent. What is a learning disability? Learning disability is nothing but within the children's, they are lacking in some basic fundamental writing, speaking, means speaking languages, writing the spellings and reading that, and lacking the repetition of the classes. So these are the very basic things we have to identify with the child. What is the problem? And first only, means in the beginning, in the early stage, if you identify learning disabilities particular child, that we can give a early prevention and we can give a training how to overcome from the learning disability. So in the learning disability, I'm taken that whatever the confusion matrix, how it is going to be working. So we have taken as LD, not LD. So if you're taking as a one child, we are going to identify the child is having learning disability or not. So LD is a positive classes, not LD is a negative classes. We taken as a two classes. First one will go for the TP, that is true positive. What is a true positive? Actually, the child is having a healthy model also identified as a healthy. So outcome is students is admitted for the prevention. Means we have to say that the child also, that actually the child is having learning disability. When we are giving as a model to accuracy to identify, the child is having healthy, so he is giving for, means admitted for the prevention. He has to, means he has to know that how he want to overcome from that. The second one will go for the false positive. False positive in the sense, actually not having a LD. The child is not having a LD. The model is predicted as a LD. It is a wrong. Means the child is not having a problem, but the model is predicted as LD. The outcome is what? The students admitted for the prevention. So, but the child is doesn't have, but model is predicted wrongly. The second one is, we will call it as FN, that is false negative. Actually, the child is having LD, but the model is not predicted as a LD. Wrongly, it is predicted. So that the outcome of the students is not admitted. So it is a risk for her because we are not identifying in the early stage. The second one is true negative. True negative means actually not LD. Means the child is not having a LD problem, but model also not identify the LD problem. So it is no problem. So you can see as a diagonal. You can see as a diagonal, that is true positive and true negative. It is the diagonally we have to identify. It is actual. Actual in the sense meaning that child is not having LD, the model also identify the LD. But when you're going for the true negative, the child is not having a LD, even the model is identified not LD. But if you're seeing as opposite direction diagonal, false positive and the false negative, you can see that it is a risk for the model. But we have to identify how. See, first we want to identify what is the confusion matrix. In the confusion matrix, how we are going for this matrix is very, very important. If you want to diagonal, so actually I am taken the learning disability, but when you're going for the COVID, means when you want to be identified with the COVID, it is be risk. Means when the model is identifying is a wrong prediction, then it is a risk for the people. So this is very, very important. When we want to be identify something, we want to identify the accuracy level, confusion matrix play very significant role. Thank you.